to Broncos and Parts Garage. My name's Chris. If you're new to the channel, please stick around to the end. You'll see additional links for content we've already created and uploaded. Behind me, I've got my 2024 Ford F-250. It's a Power Stroke. It's my first modern diesel truck I've owned. I'm really excited about it. I put about 5,000 miles on it already. Bought it to tow some of my cars and trucks all over the place, especially when we're parting out trucks. I really put a beating on my old F-150, and anyone that knows me or have seen that thing knows that I towed a lot of stuff with that truck I probably shouldn't have. This thing can tow anything. I'm really happy with the truck so far. If you notice, we've got the marker lights on. You've got marker lights in the mirror up top, the grill. I thought it was lacking a little bit. We looked down here, there was no lights in this vent. I reached out to a company called F-150 LEDs, and you can find them at f150led.com. And I bought some amber lights, LED lights that mount inside this vent. So we're real excited to get this in. It should dress that up a little bit. Because this is a diesel truck, it's different than the gassers in as much that there's two batteries and there's a coolant reservoir in the way. So there's two ways to do this. If you have a gasser, you can tap right into the marker light wires. We are going to go to the auxiliary switches that came with the truck. There's 6 of them up there right above the windshield. We're going to tap into that. Let's get some tools and get started. Okay, the first thing we'll need to do is top off these vent covers on your fenders. We're going to work on the passenger side of the vehicle. You're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're just going to do that off camera. To get these off, to get this kit in, we did go to Amazon. I ordered a trim kit. This one's about a 17-piece kit. You can take a look at this if you want to zoom in on it. It's got a variety of tools. It's got some radio keys, Christmas tree or trim pullers. I'll put a link in the video description. This was like under $20. If you have a garage or you work on cars, you need to have one of these. Okay, let's get back to the light. So we're going to take this tool out, this fork tool, and we're going to use this tool right here. This one's going to go around the clip, and we'll try to show you as best we can, or at least tell you once we pop ours off. So watch some of this video before you attempt to do this. We're going to use this one as a pry tool. We're using the plastic. This will protect the paint. You guys know these are aluminum fenders. I don't want to gall the paint. Don't stick a screwdriver in there. Let's get these clips off. All right, I've got two tools. I've got one that's the hook tool. We're going to use this one as a pry mechanism. This one, we're going to use the slotted edge. And we took off the other side. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to slide this down like this, and it's going to go on either side of that clip. It's going to go here and here, and we're going to wiggle that. And when you wiggle that, you'll squeeze that in, and we should be able to pop it out of the sheet metal. Let me set this one to the side. Let's get to it. So again, you want to get your pry tool in here, and you're using the plastic. You're using the plastic so you don't gall your paint. I'm going to get this one in the center. Now I know that there's 2 clips here. So I'm going to slide this down, and when you put this tool, it's got to go behind. It's got to go behind. The metal clip has a tab on it. You've got to be on the other side of the tab. So it'll go the plastic, a metal tab, the tool, and then the body. And when you wiggle that back and forth while you're applying pressure, you can pop that off like I just did. I'm going to do the other side. Again, put the fork in there. You got to get behind the little metal tab. And here, let me get in there. I don't know if I'm in there. Yeah, I'm not behind the tab on this one. That is just really tough to get out. Take your time. I can see the one tab. There, I'm behind both now. See, that pops out. I've done no damage to the clips. The next one is going to be down here. And again, take your time. I know it's kind of dark, Josh. You might want to come around the other side with the light. No, walk behind Connor. Yeah, get some light on that. Okay, yeah. And then, again, we're going to wiggle that under there. Kind of like you're picking a lock, really. And I'm going to get in front of the camera real quick, make sure I can see that. I got to get the clip on the other side of the metal. And that one's popped, so now I've got 3 of them out. The 4th one is actually vertical, guys. It's up and down. It's down here. That one is going to be a little bit more difficult because I can't really get the tool in this way because it's obviously vertical. So we're going to try to pry that one from inside the door and put our hands on it. I'm gonna turn the camera off for this one, but I will give you a detailed explanation of how we get that out. So go ahead and shut it off. Okay, we were able to get the the vertical clip. We had to actually run this tool down, and it would have been too hard to show on camera. This tool down, you get behind the clip, then you had to open the door slightly, like this, and then reach your fingers in here, and you can release the other clip by pushing it inwards, okay? Email me, my contact information is in the video description. That's the way we got that clip out. The other clips now are pretty simple. I believe the other one's right here, right, Josh?
Yep.
Let's see here. My big old head's blocking the way, so. And I can't really tell. Let me just get this in here. Sorry. There we go. My hat's coming off. You want to go easy on these, and this one is giving me some guff. So, because you got to get that tool around both sides of that trim clip, and right now I'm only on the top. So again, take your time. And because you have plastic on this metal, you're not really going to do too much damage to your vehicle. There we go. And now, last but not least, this bottom one.
Straight up.
Straight up. Right up there. And that's how you get it off. All the clips are intact. So basically what we're doing, guys, is when you're putting that tool in here, you're very carefully just pinching these when I wiggle it like that. But you got to get that clip on this side, and I was going behind it a lot. Obviously, you can see that's easy. You can get to this one, or excuse me, you can get to this one via the top, and then Josh reached in and touched that with his finger, or the inside clip, excuse me, with his finger, and pushed it in. That's how we got that one out. Take your time. You don't want to break this. This piece is actually two pieces. This and this are separate. If you bend this too much, you'll break these little plastic welds here, and your F250 plastic will fall off. So we're going to set this aside. We're going to get this cleaned up and get these lights installed. Let's get it going. We've got the fender vent off. Josh here was able to help me with his unusually small hands. Thanks, Josh.
They're fine.
Again, we've got the part. Not a big dramatic unboxing video. Let's get these out here. So we've got the two sets of lights, like you see here. They did give us alcohol wipes, and I'll get into that in a second. We'll set that over here. They did come with the electrical connectors. Because we are not going to the marker lights, we are not going to be using these. So we're going to set these to the side. Each light you see here comes with, I don't know what I just dropped on the ground. Oh, another clip, okay. Each light comes with the LEDs. It does come with a braided protected sleeve over the wire, and you got ample amount of wire. We're gonna be going from the far side over here, and then obviously this vent will have an abundance of wire, which will zip tie up. That will go to the auxiliary block here, and we'll ground it out to the battery. So, without further ado, per the instructions, we're gonna take these alcohol wipes. We're gonna clean the mounting surface on the inside here, and I'll have the camera come over here in a second. We're gonna clean these mounting surfaces, and we're gonna adhere the lights to the body of the truck. We're taking the supplied rubbing alcohol, and on the inside here, you see a little tab. That's where the lights are gonna stick, these three tabs right here. So clean those, liberally clean these with these rubbing alcohol strips. This is a brand new truck, so there's not a lot of debris on here, and I had the truck detailed. So only this surface needs to be cleaned. I've actually cleaned a little bit more than that, but again, it's a new truck. If you've been off-roading or whatever, you'll clean a little bit more than I am right now. But for the most part, this rubbing alcohol will do the trick. The next thing we're gonna do is install these lights. There's a couple ways you can get the wire from the vent under your hood. Josh is gonna run it down this way with his abnormally small hands. I'm gonna grab it and pull it down here. We got the lights inside the fender. Obviously, we've got all three of the pieces, the segments, behind the fender. So now it's just a matter of peeling off the 3M tape, like you see here, or excuse me, the 3M backing. All right, that's like an aluminized tape. So let's get this, and again, you want to get this up as high as possible to try to align these lights, and you don't want it to go out past that trim piece. So I'm going to put it about right there. I didn't get it as high as I wanted, but we're going to snug that in here just like you see here. So I've got the first light installed, and I'm actually impressed by that how quickly that tape gripped. So let's get this out. Yeah. Doesn't matter that that tab's sticking out the bottom, or excuse me, the extra LED, don't bend it, don't push it down. Probably dust and debris will get on the back of that sticky tape and render it not sticky after a while, but we don't have to worry about that now. It's going to be sealed up. And again, there's insulation here. This is wet. We power wash this. So it's just something, if you've got yours really dirty, prep, and then prep again, because you don't want to be doing this again. If you break one of your vents, hit me up. I do sell the whole OEM vent here for $169 if you mangle up yours, but you shouldn't. But if you do, just hit me up. All my contact information is in the video description. Let's get it wired up. Okay, I did a lot of jawing on the last segment, getting these lights to stick. That's fine. Josh, go ahead and touch them to the battery and the ground. That's what it looks like, guys. I mean, it's a great color. I'm excited to have it in here. Now I'm going to snap the cover on so you can really get an idea about what this looks like. Hopefully I can get these all lined up. I've never put one of these on myself, but I'm guessing it's just a matter of hammering these clips back in where they go, making sure that everything's lined up properly. Yeah, and that's the way it's going to look. Walk around here. Look at it. I think it looks fantastic. At night, it's going to look even better. Let's get the wiring done. Okay, we've got the lights installed on both sides. I've run the wiring up through the fender. This stuff does come with some split loom on it to protect the wiring, which is fantastic. I don't like it moving around a lot, so I've got these zip ties that actually have the Christmas tree plugs. You can put them in holes anywhere in the body. There's one right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around here like this, and I'll put links in the video description so you can get a pack of these on Amazon. And then you can sit here and secure this wire, and this will keep it from moving. You tighten this up, and we're going to clip off the excess on this zip tie. It does clear this shock, so don't worry about that. Now, we got to get this wire to the other side, to the auxiliary box. You can run it down here under this core support plastic. I'm going to run mine up underneath the cowl. I'm not going to do it on camera, guys, so you choose the best for you. But I'm going to drill a couple small holes in this plastic right here, and then I'm going to get some zip ties, and I'm going to zip tie this all the way over to the other side. But for the for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to drape it over the engine right now and turn it over to Josh, and then we're going to do the wiring of both lights to the aux box under the hood.
So we got both the wires ran right behind the passenger battery. Now, down here is an auxiliary fuse box. This is what we're going to be tapping into because it has the relays for the auxiliary switches, which are right by the rearview mirror. Now, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but if you shine the light down this side, put the camera like right here, there's these two plastic tabs that are way down in there. Now, they're not far and they're not hard to reach, but it's hard to view on the camera. Now, what you want to do is you want to push up on them like that. I just popped that one up. There's one more in the back here, which I have to use on my way in here. Release. Now, both of those are released, so you should be able to pull this right up, which will come up no problem. But you may have to fight these wiring harnesses just a little bit because it's a little cramped over here. So, let me get this up so we can proceed. There. Now, as soon as you get this up, there's going to be a bundle of wires taped up under here with this fabric tape. These are your auxiliary wires. Now, Chris is going to provide a wiring diagram or a link to said wiring diagram in the description of the video. But there's also a little kind of description on a plastic piece that's taped to this as well, so you know what you're working with. Now, I've already identified what wire we need to tap into for the first auxiliary switch, which is brown and green is going to be relay 1, so we're going to be looking for that one. Brown and green. So right here is relay 1. That's going to be for the first switch. And what we need to do here is take our wire strippers, cut this excess off, which is what they use just to seal it. And what you're going to want to do is strip a usable amount back, so you have something to work with when you plug it into the connector. Now, you're going to want to get these crimp connectors. We have a red one and a blue one. This red one will work perfectly fine for this. So what you want to do is slide this end over that, get your crimpers, put a good crimp on it so it's not going to come undone on you. Simply give it a good crimp, tug on it a little bit, ain't going nowhere. And what we're going to do, see, you can buy the ones that have heat shrink on them. These ones unfortunately aren't, so we're going to apply heat shrink after the fact. We're just going to slide that over now because you can't apply it once you already have the wires on. Now you're going to take these two small wires, and these are real thin gauge. You got to be careful so you don't actually end up breaking the wire, but they don't need a lot considering it's LEDs. They don't have a lot of amperage. You just want to strip these back so you have a little bit more connector, a little bit more of a connection underneath. Just slide these back just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to join both the wires up, twist them together so they have real good connection, and we're going to put this in the other end of that crimp connector. Just like that, nice and twisted. What you want to do, just slide those in this end of the crimp connector. Get your crimpers. See, it popped out there, but sometimes it's easier to straighten this out and get this right out of the way. Sometimes it's easier to kind of hold it with the crimpers like this. Take this wire, slide it in here, and then give it a good crimp. Just like that. And now that ain't gonna come out on you. Now, to prevent any corrosion from happening, since this is not a heat shrink connector, we're gonna simply use our own heat shrink. It'll take a second, so I'm just using a lighter. A lot of people use blow torches, but since it's such a enclosed space, I didn't want to accidentally run the risk of burning anything here. Just like that, you just want to shrink that down on the wires. And what this is going to do is it's going to seal everything so you don't have any corrosion or anything getting in there and making a bad connection. Just like that, nice and sealed. Now a lot of these also have glue on the inside of them. That's what they call the marine grade ones, and that really seals it. So now this is done and upright. This will now activate once you hit the switch. So what I'm going to do, since we're in here, make it neat, just like it was when we unboxed it, right? Unwrapped it. We're just going to take some tape. We're going to wrap this back up so it goes back together real nice under here. No just random wires doing their thing. It's just going to hold together all these other wires. Now, these other wires are also the other switches, so if you wanted to wire up a light bar or something like that, this is typically where you want to go if you have the factory auxiliary switches, which this truck does. I'm just going to tape this up a little bit. Doesn't got to be perfect, it's just to hold these together so they're not all loose and about down there. Sweet. And just like that, the positive side of the wiring is done. So now what we have to do is reinstall this fuse box, which is the same way as we removed it. Just be cautious of your wiring. Tuck that underneath so it doesn't get pinched up or stuck on anything. Slide this down. Get right back on the two metal clips that we had before. And just like that, it's solid. Now, what we have to do is take the two ground, this one, and this one. You might have to peel these back and separate the wires a little bit just to get a little extra slack. You don't need a lot. What we're going to do is strip these back and do the same thing we just did, which is use an eyelet this time. Like that, strip a little bit of it. And once again, these are real thin, so you want to be careful not to damage the wire underneath the insulation when you're pulling it apart. Just like that. That is actually plenty. So what we'll do here is twist these two together. On this one, since there's so much, I'm actually going to double this back. Just like that, these two are twisted together. These are our two negatives. Here's an eyelet that's going to go over this stud right here on the battery terminal. So what we need to do, slide this in here. Now this is gonna fight me a little bit because the way I twisted it. But what you want to do is get this in here so we can crimp this connector. Sometimes giving a little twist helps. Get our crimping tool and simply crimp this connection. And then after, just like before, this has heat shrink built on this actual connector, unlike the last one. So what we're gonna do is shrink that down so we get a watertight seal, prevent corrosion. Just like that, that's nice and sealed. Now what we're gonna do is take this little 10mm nut off this stud. Go simple, crack it loose and spin it. Just like that. Slip the eyelet over. Reinstall the nut. Simple as that, the wiring all done.
We've got everything wired up. Josh got the grounds attached. The last thing we need to do is clean up the wiring. We're gonna do it off camera. You guys can do it any way you want. We are gonna route this along one of these other harnesses to have it go down to the auxiliary box. We're gonna do a zip tie over here, probably underneath this this fender bolt right here to keep this from moving around. We don't want this chafing. Again, you can route this in the front or the back. We're gonna go in the back. We're probably gonna drill some holes in this piece of plastic, zip tie this wire underneath there. We'll do it off camera. You can, again, finish it any way you want. You want to keep it from touching anything that's hot. Josh, you have anything to add?
The only other things you'd be concerned with the wire touching is anything that moves, such as these hood struts or the hood hinges.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's some, I don't know, there's a lot of components on this 6.7 Power Stroke. But again, like Josh said, nothing moving. You don't want to.
Nothing hot, nothing moving.
Yeah, pinch hot. I think they look nice. Right now, we're going to turn the lights out. And we're gonna come around here and I'm gonna show you what these look like when we key switch them on.